time. And as always, extremely excited for the opportunity to greet this audience. And let me tell you why I get so excited about this audience. Because each one of you rectangles represents the person in your family, the person in your community, the only person on your job that's bold enough to take this step to learn this skill set so that you can now be in control of your financial destiny. What an outstanding decision each one of you have made. So at this moment, welcome to a talk with the finance doctor, your RX for Forex. So for the benefit of the 111ers, let me say a little bit about this call. We purposely chose that preposition with because we want this to be a dialogue. We want this to be in a conversation. You heard Ms. Dyer say, if you have a question, put it in the chat. That is the perfect way for her to address questions because her tutoring, her mentoring, her coaching is chart-based. This, however, is a conversation. If I had a little fireplace I could put in the background, I'd do it. This is a chat. This is a dialogue. So a talk with the finance doctor means that you have the opportunity to walk in the power of your unmuted microphone and us have a conversation. Why is it important? Why is it important for us to have this conversation? Because personal finance, ladies and gentlemen, personal finance, BYOBers, is literally the only area of our society where the same individuals that teach you or share with you information about the products happen to be the same individuals that sell you the product. So we need to have a forum where we can have an objective conversation. Every time you ask me a question, my mindset isn't on what product will make the most amount of commission for you. Every time you ask me a question, my mindset is going to be on what's best for you. I've been saying this for almost 30 years. I am not anti-institution. I'm pro-household. Pro-household. So a wonderful opportunity for us to have this conversation. Also, for the benefit of the 111ers, I think it's important that I pause and talk about why I'm so excited about this because it's been a while since I've said it. Yes, we've been doing this call for 2 years. Yes, everything is recorded, but I feel like you need to hear this live. When I earned my PhD in finance and economics, I wrote my dissertation about banks. I've had the opportunity to be a consultant multiple times for banks. So now I'm in a situation where I get to be part of the leadership for Be Your Own Bank. Do you see how this is more than just an opportunity to educate? This is a mission. This is a representation of the servanthood in which I've been walking in my entire life. And God ordained the flow of information in such a perfect way. So when I heard about this opportunity, 13 minutes later, I signed the bottom line because I knew that this was an opportunity not only for me to reach a level of wealth and abundance, but more importantly for me to do it for others. So you're in the right place for the right reasons. All you have to do is follow my 2-word adage: plug in. That's it. The people who plug in succeed. The people who don't, it's up in the air. So you've done that. So before I begin talking, because trust me, I always come to this call with an agenda, what's more important is I give you the opportunity to ask your questions. So questions, comments, testimonies about anything within the realm of economics, finance, and trading. Questions, comments, testimonies.
Hi, Dr. Barthwood.
Hi, Ms. Edwards. What can I do for you?
I have a question. It's an economical question, but it's kind of like, it's sort of personal, but I struggle with saving money properly. When I have it, I use it for the right things, but not all the time. So like, just I'm I don't know how to use the money, you know?
That's a very legitimate question, Ms. Edwards, and way more common than you think. Now, hear me, because this really is the key to this great question you're asking. Psychologists say anything that we say before the word but is nullified. Let me say it again. Psychologists say anything that we say before the word but is nullified. So for example, I say, I really want to do a good job with this.
Hmm? Anything tastes delicious.
Please make sure.
Well, what, baby? It doesn't taste delicious. And I said, well, we have olive oil, so everything tastes delicious.
Atara Yisrael, please mute your phone. Thank you. So the point is, anything that we say before the word but is nullified. I really want to do a good job at this, but I think I can succeed at this, but I'm overwhelmed. I think that this will be a good opportunity for me, but I'm confused. So everything is nullified because you use the word but. And what you're doing is you're nullifying it inside. It's an inside job. It's self-nullification. What does that have to do with her excellent question? What this has to do with your excellent question is this. Any answer I give you will be nullified by the way you started your question. Any answer I give you, Ms. Edwards, will be nullified by the way in which you started your question. See, what we do in the BYOB movement is we believe in tough love. We believe in giving it to you real. We believe in giving it to you raw and uncut, because all that's going to do is help you with your success. So the answer to your question is easy. But what's more important is the label that you put on yourself to ask the question. I struggle with this. I struggle with this. Ms. Edwards, let me finish, please. I struggle with this. That is a judgment. And it's the worst kind of judgment because it's self-judgment. And I talk all the time about the fact that if we treated ourselves the way we treated our best friends, we'd be in a better position. So I will give you an answer. But what you have to do is add to my answer, removing that label and allowing yourself to go through your process, allowing yourself to go through your flow. You don't struggle with it. What you are doing is seeking some clarity on how to do it better. But doesn't that sound different? I struggle with this. I'm seeking some clarity on how to do this better. So you've done that because the Bible says there's wisdom in seeking counsel, and you've done so. So here's how she can address this issue. And again, this is a general answer. If I was sitting at her kitchen table and I could ask follow-up questions, obviously I'd be able to give her more insight. But here's a solid answer to your question. What you want to do is do something, Latoya, that very few Americans do. What you want to do is do something that very few Americans do. And that's write it down. Now, when I say write it down, I'm speaking in that Gerald Rogers word processor going to college type of situation, because write it down does not physically mean you write it down. It just means that you record it. And what we found is that in America, many individuals never write down what they're spending money on. They never write it down. Let me give you this is a great question, Latoya. I'm so glad you asked it. Let me give you a proof of that. When I used to do financial seminars, I've been doing them for 28 years. When I was doing financial seminars, I would try to make the point that I'm making to you, Ms. Edwards. And one of the techniques I would do, one of the tactics I would do, is I would take 2 index cards and I would put them on everybody's seat or table, depending on the room. And I would say something similar to what I just said to you. And I would say, okay, let me prove it. I would say, you'll see 2 index cards. Please take the first index card and write down how much you made last year. And everybody would fill out the card. Then I would say, okay, financial seminar participants, please take the second card and write down how much you spent last year. When I tell you, Ms. Edwards, I've been doing that for 28 years. Please mute your phone if you're not speaking. I've been doing that for 28 years, Ms. Edwards. And in 28 years, my 2 index card trick, nobody has ever filled out the second card. So let's be clear what I'm saying to you. Everybody knows how much they make, but nobody knows how much they spend. Everybody knows how much they make, but nobody knows how much they spend. So it's a lot simpler than you think it is, Ms. Edwards. What it's really about is taking the first step, and that is recording. I will always remember that I went to one of my friend's 40th birthday party. I was in my 30s at the time. And a young lady that was a single mom walked up to me and she said, I heard you have a PhD in finance. Can I ask you some questions? I said, sure. And she had all of her expenses written on a napkin. When I tell you I was so impressed with her, I know her now. She actually is dating one of my family members. And so bottom line, she's a very successful young lady. All of her kids are grown. She put them through private school. But hear what I'm saying. She had those expenses written on a napkin. So it doesn't matter whether it is a spreadsheet, a computer program, or a napkin. The first starting point, Ms. Edwards, on this excellent question is to write it down. Ask yourself this question. If I had done that trick to you, would you have known what to put on that second index card? The answer is no. Then that means the starting point, because hear me, whenever the collective consciousness plays a role, when Ms. Edwards asks a question like this, other people have the same question. And she's just representing us by asking it. So if you would have had trouble filling out that second index card, you should ask yourself, what do I need to do to write it down? And I purposely gave you the example about the napkin, because whether it's a napkin or QuickBooks, you need to have a feel for how much you need to spend. So now that Ms. Edwards has done this, she's written it down, she's napkinized it. Now she has a feel for, on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis, how much money it requires to do what it is that she's done. So now she can look at the excess and she can make a very intelligent, mature decision on what's left. So now the question becomes, Ms. Edwards, is it really about the fact that you're not doing a good job with savings? Or is it the fact that you're judging yourself because of what you're doing? Because here's how I feel, and I say that I've been saying this to financial planning clients my entire life. It does not matter what you spend money on. Money is an energy. And when you let money go out, guess what happens? It's coming back. This is something I used to do in my early days of financial planning clients who were tight on money. I would say every time you put money on a debit card, every time you put money on a credit card, you say to that money, see you when you come back. See you when you come back. And what would end up happening is people would feel lighter about the process, because it's not necessarily about the strategy. It's again about the label. I struggle with this. And if I'm thinking I'm struggling with it, I'm going to continue to attract situations that, watch this, I label as struggle. So I'm writing it down. I know how much is required every month. I'm not looking at the excess, and I'm purposely not telling you what to do with the excess, Ms. Edwards, because it doesn't matter, because it's coming right back. It is not the practice that is an issue. It is your judgment of the practice that is an issue. So with this excess, you decide, this is how much I want to put away. And you do that. You put that money away and you put the same amount away every single month. But now you're in a better position because you've done two things, a huge thing and a big thing. The big thing you've done is you've now begin to have a vision, have a view of exactly what dollars you're talking about. And then the huge thing is that you remove the label of struggle. And because that label has removed, you're going to look up, you'll be able to spend and buy all the things you want, and you have all the savings you want because you now have done it with lighter energy. So Ms. Latoya Edwards, please unmute your mic and ask me a follow-up question or make a follow-up statement.
Thank you. And
Thank you. And
thank you for the next steps that I will be taking to improve my savings.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm just curious, Ms. Edwards, at this moment right now, do you have a particular percentage or dollar goal per month?
Do I have a specific, what kind of goal?
I want you to answer this yes or no. Do you have right now, prior to you asking the question, do you have a particular percentage amount or dollar amount that you want to save per month?
No.
So of course you're going to consider it as being a struggle. How can I evaluate something that never had an infrastructure? How can I evaluate a plan that was never a plan? So you're already there because you're going to remove that label, you're going to decide how much you're going to do, and then you're just going to follow through with it. It's just that simple. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Edwards, does that make sense? So I'm getting an energetic feeling.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I can, thank you. I'm getting an energetic feeling that someone is going through. Yes, we can hear you, Ms. Edwards, thank you. Thank you for the question. I'm getting a feeling that someone on the call has a similar issue or question or something they want to say or ask based on this dialogue me and Ms. Edwards just had. So please unmute your mic and ask the question. The person that had a thought or had a question based on the dialogue between me and Ms. Edwards, please unmute your mic and ask your question. Okay, now, let me tell you why I really, really love this question that Ms. Edwards asked. And if that person decides to say something, just interrupt me and ask your question or make your comment. So this is why what Ms. Edwards is saying to me, what she's asking is just so paramount. Because oftentimes we as humans, we're so caught up in the label. The label has become the reality. And isn't it interesting that she said, I'm having issues with savings, but she never planned to save? There's nothing wrong with that because all we humans do it. But I just want to bring that to your attention because you may be dealing with an issue that's not saving, where you're doing the same thing. You're labeling yourself and you're saying, this is what I'm not. So I'll give you a quick example from Saturday morning. I was coaching a junior varsity game, last game of the season. And a young lady named Carson is on my team that is a really good outside shooter. So we were down 38-33, running out of time in the fourth quarter. So I wanted her to jack up some threes so we can get back in the game, especially since my other scorer was on the bench with foul trouble. So I said, Carson, I need you to shoot the three. Carson said, I'm not going to do that. So I ignored the fact that little Carson thinks she could tell me what she's not going to do. And I said, Carson, why would you say that? And she said, because coach, you saw it. I'm missing all of my shots. So I said, have you missed the one that you haven't taken yet? And it stung her. She didn't know what to say. She was like, no. So I said, I called a timeout. Timeout. I said, Carson, repeat after me. I'm going to make all of my 3-point shots. So she reluctantly did it, but then she did it 2 times. Timeout out, we go back in. How about Carson hit 3 3-pointers in a row? Not 1, not 2, I saw LeBron at Miami. 3 3-pointers in a row. Now, my point is not about what a great coaching job I did, because we lost. My point is about the fact that this is what we do. We tell ourselves what we are, and then we live it out. I'm not making my 3-pointers, so she didn't. So the coach, that's really a finance doctor disguised as a coach, made her say, I'm going to make my threes. She made it. I expected her to make one. I expected her to make 3 in a row. But you see how powerful our words are to ourselves? I struggle with saving, but I don't have a plan in place to save. I'm not talking to Ms. Edwards. I'm talking to everybody. She's just an example, because we all do it. Now, let me give you a real life example, also from Saturday, so that we can walk away understanding how we take this mindset and we put ourselves in a position where we stifle ourselves. So after the junior varsity game, I drove from Tampa, Florida to Lakeland, Florida for a basketball tournament. And this basketball tournament featured teams from all over the state, the best teams in the state. In fact, the #1 team in the nation, Mount Bird Academy, was at this particular tournament. So what I'm doing is this. Me and my head coach are trying to turn the program around with 17-4, best record ever. But we're trying to get them to do what I say, play on the big court. We played in a Christmas tournament, and all the good teams played on the big court. We played on the other. We had to walk past their court. So I said, what do you have to do to start playing on the big court? So why are you telling us this story, finance doctor? Because by deciding to learn this skill set, you decided you want to be on the big court. Would you learn a skill set like this and have an easy, accurate strategy like this and stay the same? Do you plan on making the same amount of money, or do you want to be on the big court? So I went to this tournament so I could watch some big court action and bring some of those techniques, tools, and observations back to my team. I sat there and watched 6 games on Saturday, 4 games on Friday. Here's my point. The gym in which the game took place was at a gym that had a door in the middle of the gym. That's where entrances are. They're always in the middle. But because of COVID, they locked the middle door and they opened up the door on the right. It is common for us to feel like entrances are always in the middle. So what someone did was they put a sign up on the middle door that said, entrance this way. Now, I really want y'all to follow me, because this is really a conversation about the way we walk in our humanness. The middle door says entrance that way, entrance to the right. When I arrived at the basketball tournament, I hadn't eaten. Early game, no breakfast, I'm hungry. So I backed my truck in and started eating. As I'm eating my lunch, I see a person walk up to the middle door, and the sign clearly says entrance this way, but they still try to open the door. Guess what I did? Servant heart, I blew the horn and pointed. And they're like, oh, thanks. Then I watched another person walk up to the sign that says entrance this way and try to open this door. Literally, while I was sitting there, I saw 30 people that ignored the sign that said, go this way for the entrance, and attempted to go in the way in which they're used to going. Oh, he just said something. Then I went into the tournament. While I was in the tournament, phone call, went to the bathroom, talking to different people, I saw person after person after person after person walk to the middle door and open it instead of reading the sign that said entrance is this way. What are you saying, finance doctor? This is what we do. All the signs are telling us this is it. This is that deal. This is the skill set. This is the key to us getting our wealth in abundance. This is what will allow us to see what was hidden in plain sight. This will put us in a position where we can be our own bank. But in our humanness, we keep doing what we used to do. I'm confused. I don't get it. This is overwhelming. I don't understand. But all the signs are telling you, all you got to do is follow the 3 strategies. All you got to do is plug in. All you got to do is look at the videos. All you got to do is come to the trainings. All you got to do is go on YouTube. All the signs are pointing. All you got to do is do this. But why do we keep doing the same thing that we're used to doing? We have to retrain ourselves to understand that God has provided the sign for us to get to the wealth and abundance that we deserve. So let's stop being human. Let's stop doing the same thing and expecting different results. Let's stop ignoring the signs and let's take advantage of this opportunity to be our own bank, to learn the BYOB cash out strategy, to learn how the Forex market works, to put ourselves in a position of learning this skill set so that we can go to where the signs are pointing and we can enter into a new paradigm of wealth and abundance. This has been a talk with the finance doctor. Questions, comments, testimonies from anyone? Okay, business partners, that is all for me. Mr. Rogers, Ms. Dyer. My knowledge is just frozen. They don't even know what to say. Frozen.
Nah, I was muted. But no, that's just a phenomenal call this evening. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the ball is in your court. It's just time. But you're right, as far as what to say, because all I have is I'll speak Mr. Rogers' famous words is wow, wow, wow. And so it's just time for us to just take control and just change the narrative and control the outcome and do everything with intent.
Thank you for that, Velvet. Any other questions, comments, and testimonies? Okay, everyone. This has been a talk with the finance doctor. We are